Hey guys, welcome to another episode of The Cat Lady. My name is Andrea, also known as The Cat Lady. That's 2T, CATT, which stands for Craft All the Things. I am a knit, crochet, fiber-related channel that just talks about the things I'm working on and whatever else comes my way. I dabble in other crafts, but primarily just the fiber-related, yarn-related crafts. So I am itching to sew some things, so that might come up, but I don't know. I'm not very good at sewing, so we shall see. But I kind of want to make some skirts or something. I've been dying to make some like pajama pants. I have a pattern for that, but I don't have a lot of space to like lay out fabrics and stuff. So anyways, I go off on a lot of tangents. So that's one of them. I live in Michigan. I have a husband, 2 kids, and 2 cats. And my cats are currently in here and they're probably going to potentially cause trouble. I don't know. Hobbs is going in his little bed here, so that's good. Calvin is laying on the table. So hopefully they don't distract me too much. Anywho, I've been a slow mover when it comes to life and the crafting, and so once again I will be talking about these same things that we've been talking about for the last months. There's not a lot new on the plate, but as you can see, I do have a finished object. So I was working on this the last week or two, and I decided I wasn't sure if I was going to add the fringe. I decided to add the fringe. I like it. I would probably dress it up a little more, like wear it with a dress or something, but right now I'm just wearing leggings and just a regular sweater. But I like this. This is the little fringe triangle bandana shawl by Loopy Mango, something like that. Everything will be linked below. This is using the merino number 5. It was one. I used every single piece except for one, which I might fiddle in there. It's like I have one more piece of fringe I could probably foot in there somewhere. But this was a pattern designed by Loopy Mango that was for this specific yarn. I bought it at Rhinebeck last year. So I will stand up and show you. So it was using size 35 millimeter needles. The one thing that I don't mind, but it naturally wants to roll down, which I think is fine. So like the neck kind of comes up like this, but it naturally wants to just roll over. And I think it looks good. It's got little ties here. I did leave the ends on there. I kind of like them because they kind of hang with the fringe, but I don't know. But it's potentially you're supposed to put little like beads or something on the bottom. So I just left the ends, but they kind of just like hang in with the fringe, and I kind of don't mind. So I do wish maybe there was a little more fringe that would hang on the shoulder. Like you kind of have to keep kind of moving it there. Obviously when they take pictures, it's like they style it perfect, then shoot the picture. So when I move around and stuff, it kind of, now honestly, you probably should just bring it all forward at this point. So there, that's all forward, but it's pretty cute. I like it. I think it's kind of fun. This was the, I don't remember the colorway name. It's on my Ravelry page. I will, oh, did I? I don't even know if I put this on. I don't think I've even put this on my Ravelry page. It was so quick. It took 2 days pretty much total to knit the actual little shawl part because it's just a little triangle shawl. And then it took another day for me to do the fringe. So, but it took me like weeks to get my act together. So that's another story. But that is done. Other things that I worked on this week is I ended up cranking a hat on my AliExpress king size. So this is a large AliExpress, and I just made myself a green beanie because our sports or town or whatever is green and white, is the dragons. And so I was wearing my marching band sweatshirt to a band meeting the other night, and I'm like, I just kind of want a green hat. So I cranked out a green hat. I bought this yarn with my gift card from Joanne before the impending doom, and specifically because I want it. Now, our color is probably more like a foresty, and yeah, so this is my Peace Love Dragons bag. But this was the closest Karen Simply Soft, which runs very nice through the machine, and it's good. It matches the marching band hoodie I have as well. So we have robotics comps to go to, so I like to wear hats because my hair is a mess. I just washed it today, but I didn't dry it. So when it naturally dries, it just kind of doesn't look good. So unless I like blow dry it or like curl it, it looks like this. So I like to wear hats so that it hides that. But this is easy because you just crank out 120 rows, cinch the tops and pull them together. So it's a double thick tube here. And this is my favorite kind of hat to make on the machine, and it's super easy, and Karen Simply Soft is nice, and it's not as, it's worsted, but it's like a light worsted, so it's a little less snug. So when I run like big twist through the machine, it also runs through pretty nicely, but it makes for a little bit snugger hat because it's thicker. So it just kind of, it makes for a tighter gauge. So this one seems to be perfect for any size head. The kids will wear these, Jim can wear these, and I can wear these comfortably. So, and you could roll it up too. So this is big enough to wear as like a beanie if you wanted, but I don't wear beanies as much, but I could. Doesn't look bad. So 120 rows seems to be the sweet spot for at least a female head. If I was making it for Jim, I might make it a little bit bigger, maybe like 150 rows. I don't know. So that is what I made as well. Speaking of other hats, I have finished the base of the Clancy hat. So obviously I have thousands of ends to weave in, but the main part of the hat is done. It's been seamed on both sides. So now I just have to add the ribbing. So this is a finished hat, so I just need to add this bottom ribbing, which is a bit of a slog. So it is done sideways around, and it's all single crochet. So it'll take a while, but I will get that going. But I'm glad this part's done. So I need to make 4 of these total at some point. No rush. No reason. Jim's like, I want one. He's never gonna wear it. So I don't know, but I have this one for me. I technically give this one to Emily probably, and then David kind of commandeered my original one, which is fine because I made this one a little bit better. So if you are interested in this pattern, it is available on my YouTube channel as a tutorial and as a written pattern. So I will link that. I'll post that here. I think it's this side, and I will link it down below. And that is, and then, okay. And lastly, which we've talked about before, and you've seen the startings, I've made some pretty good progress this week, honestly. It's been a slow go with things, but in general, got that mostly done, so that's good. And then I got this hat done, and I got this done, so I feel pretty accomplished. And look at how far I've gotten on this. So this is the Ripple Bralette by Jessie Made Designs. Where is my yarn? It's kind of flipped here. I don't know what's going on. Okay. This is the Ripple Bralette. So last you saw it, I was in the 1x1 ribbing. I believe I was still in the ribbing at the bottom here. So I am slowly making progress. I need to do, I think I determined like 47 rows of the main body pattern, and I've gotten, that starts row 1, so 10, 20, close to 30. Let's see, 20. We got 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 28. So 28 rows. So I need about 20 more rows of that before I can start the little bra cup parts, I guess you could call them. So these little triangle parts here. So this is a finished one I just made prior to that one. So, and then I'm probably going to do the straps the same. So it's hard to see on this, but like you have a halter that goes around my neck. I never showed a picture of it. I'm sorry. I never took a picture of my back, but essentially the back goes like this. So this part's around my head, and then this part loops around my back. So that's how that works. So I will probably do the same thing just to make sure I'm using up the yarn as best as possible and not running out. I think I had slightly more of this green one. I even weighed it, and I can't remember, but I think I did. So that is it. And I've only been 10 minutes, only 10 minutes of crafting time, craft sharing, because that's all I've done. My coat is now sitting on my mannequin over here because I would like to put the buttons on, and it's going, by the time I get it done, I'm not going to be able to wear it because it's starting to be spring and the weather's changing, and it's going to be too, well, it's kind of a lighter weight coat, so I might be able to sneak it out once or twice, but this is getting kind of warm. This is 100% wool merino, and it is kind of warm right now, so I think I'm going to temporarily take this off. The cats are going to have a field day if I leave this out anywhere, so I have to be careful with that. Just stick it in the basket for now. Probably move it into my bedroom. So anyways, so life updates. So if you are here for some life updates, I do have some updates from last weekend. We were on the cusp of some events and whatevers and yada yada. So what was it? Okay, so Friday was David's piano federation. So what he does is he has 2 songs he has to memorize, and then he has to play them for a judge. And he's alone in a room with piano. It's at a church, so they just set up a bunch of different rooms with pianos in it. But he was in like the main church area on the like baby grand, so which was kind of fun. Which he was on the same one last year, but so we can kind of hear him because it's in the room, but like we're not in there with him. So we're all sitting there and people are talking kind of lightly outside. So you're trying to pay attention. He plays the first song. Okay, first off, as soon as he came home from school, I said, why don't you just play them each once? Let's pretend like you're doing the thing and we'll just call it a day. You don't want to over practice before the event. So he runs through them. They were perfect. They were perfect. Like perfect. So then we get to the event. Obviously, everyone's nervous. So he goes in, he plays the first song. The first song is the song he likes. It's the one he gets to pick that he likes. The second one is usually a more classical themed song, so he doesn't usually like them as much. So he plays the first song and sounds good. Everything from what we can tell, you know, I can't tell like if he's doing the dynamics right or et cetera, not like the judge can. So I'm like, okay, well, it sounds good. He did it good. Second song, he starts off, he does the first verse, pretty good. Gets to the second verse, which has always been his weaker spot. He's been doing this for months too with his piano teacher, so it's not like he's not been practicing. Gets to the second verse and he just like falters like right in the middle. I couldn't tell, like he was supposed to do like a repeat of it. I still couldn't tell if he did the repeat. Apparently the repeats aren't required, so I don't know. I still to this day won't know if he did the repeat or not. It sounded like to me he didn't, but maybe he did it once and then screwed up on the second repeat. And then he just stopped. And he stopped for kind of a long time. It was probably like 5 to 10 seconds, which feels like forever in those scenarios. And then he kind of fumbled or whatever, but managed to get back into it and finish, which was then a repeat of the first part. So he like recovered. It seemed like a slow recover, but he recovered. And honestly, the parts he played, according to the judging notes, were good. So, but it was Friday at 6:30. We couldn't get results until Saturday afternoon. So he comes out of the thing. He's like, oh, how'd you do, buddy? Bad. You know, like super sad. We went out for ice cream, you know, tried to be upbeat about it, but I'm like dying on the inside as well. Cause I'm like, oh, if he gets the high marks this year, he gets a trophy, because if you get 3 high marks in a row, you get a trophy. Or not in a row, if you just get 3 high marks. So technically, if he didn't get it this year, he could get it next year type thing. But like I feel like a lot more was on the line than just the normal, you want to do the best, right? So we're like, okay, it's okay, you did great, you know, like, and then he didn't say a word, we didn't say a word, nobody said anything for the whole like next 24 hours, essentially. And then finally I get a note. I did text the teacher. I'm like, oh, when do we find out? She's like, tomorrow afternoon. I'm like, oh, dang it. So then finally she did text and she's like, David got superior. I'm like, oh my God. And I'm thinking in my head, are you sure? I honestly wasn't sure, like I wasn't sure if I should believe her. Cause I'm like, I just don't know. It was kind of rough. And I'm like, do you have the judging form? She's like, I'll have it, not yet. And so luckily it was like within a half an hour. Cause I told Jim, I'm like, she said he got superior, but I don't know. And he's like, I wouldn't tell him yet either. So we didn't tell him until I got the sheet. She sent me a picture of the judging sheet. She wrote a lot of really nice things, like all the stuff that he did well in the songs. Obviously, he got one little mark down for memory. That was it. So he got superior. So he should be getting a trophy. So that's super exciting. So then, okay, yes, we were at Emily's Winter Winds competition. This was the first one they actually got to do since the actual first one scheduled got canceled due to snow. Which it really wasn't that bad. We could have went. But anyways, so they canceled the whole event. So this was our first time competing. There was like only 4 teams total of the winds. There was a lot of percussion. So it was like a percussion section, and then there was the winds, which is the instruments. There was only 4 teams, I think, 4 or 5 tops. 1, 2, 3, maybe 5. There were 5 teams total. And there were 3 different classes. So you sign up for whatever class you're in. There's like the A class, which is for like newer groups. There's the open class, which is supposed to be intermediate, and then there's the world class, which is supposed to be like the best of the best. And I get that you don't want to compete the A's against the W's. It makes sense. And so you have these tiered lists, but and then they break them off into different, like you can have independent groups, so they're not necessarily associated with school. You can have scholastic groups that they are associated with schools, and then there was like one other one, the open class, so it could be whatever you want, I guess. I think, or I don't remember. But anyways, our school was the only one in the WSO, so Wins Scholastic Open. We were the only one. So guess what? We won. So it was weird. It was weird. And Jim and I drove back and forth 3 times because they performed at 11 for prelims. And I mean, there was no competition. There was like no, you weren't competing against anybody. So obviously we then came back for finals because there was no competition. It was so weird. So then we came back at like 8 o'clock for the finals. And then we came back at like 10 o'clock for awards. And they got a trophy. And we didn't get home until like 11 o'clock, 11:30 almost. Because then, like, you know, we were at a different school. We had to, like, they had to bus the kids back and whatever. And, like, it was weird. They did really good, though. I mean, they had problems during the prelims. They had audio problems. Two kids ran into each other. Someone ran into one of the props. It was a whole ordeal. So they really, really bombed their prelims. They totally nailed it for finals. So their scores were okay. I mean, if you looked at all the 5 total scores, they were somewhere in the middle. Obviously, the world class got the highest score. There was only one team in that. So there were 3 A class, 1 open, which was us, and then 1 world class. It's so weird. So it made for an interesting competition. And we have another one in a couple weeks. We have robotics coming up. So yeah, lots of at least robotics is like a competition. So it's very strange. But yeah, so we will be busy for the next month with all these competitions, and spring break is coming up, which will actually be a nice little break. We have no plans, so we're just gonna chill and yada yada yada. So that is it. So both kids were champions this weekend in their instruments. Emily has a state solo this weekend, so that's exciting and another nerve-wracking event, but at least she gets her score right away. So she will go in, she will perform, we will wait 5 minutes, and she will get a score. So she's been practicing a lot. We've practiced with the pianist a couple times, so I'm really hoping she does well. You know, this is state level, so it's going to be a harder competition, but hopefully she does well. But regardless, she should be proud that she made it this far. So anyways, that's it. I made it to 20 minutes-ish. Not quite, but we're going to call it. I'm trying to be consistent. So, like, even when I feel like there are multiple times I felt like, I shouldn't even do it. But I have things to share. I can move on with those and not have to worry about, like, saving them for another time. And I'm just trying to keep it going. So thanks for coming along for the ride. And I hope everyone has a great weekend. I hope you have a great week. And I hope you get to craft all the things.